right. Good Wednesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jason Peterson. Let's go ahead and talk about the weather for your Wednesday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to talk about tonight, and you might be asking what it is. I will let you know in just a second, but first, before we get into that, as we always do, if you have not hit the like button and you are here right now, go on and hit the like button. We've had 5 people tune in so far and only 3 likes. 5 people tune in so far and only 3 likes. So go on and hit that like button. Also, if you are new and you have never hit the subscribe button before ever, this is like one of your first nights, go on and hit that subscribe button as well. It's free and you can change your mind at any time. You can change your mind at any time. So that's out the way. Also share it with all the people that you know, which that would also be very much appreciated. Now that is out of the way, what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, obviously, we will talk about what's going on tonight. What is going on tonight? That's what the main thing, and just what's going on currently, right now as we speak. We also will talk about the tropics, obviously. We'll talk about our pattern, our temperatures, our just everything that's going on in terms of the weather, in terms of the short term and long term, we will be discussing for tonight. So that, and then now that that is out of the way, let's go on and start off with what is currently going on throughout the state of South Carolina. And you go and look at this map right now, absolutely nothing is ongoing right now. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Nothing. And so that's a bit of a difference from what we saw last night and this morning. If you remember, I said that we probably would have some rainfall here during this time. And look at that. No rainfall. We'll discuss that and talk about that in just a second. We'll talk about that in just a second. If we go in and scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we do in fact have some rainfall going on in the central U.S. from Texas to Oklahoma to Kansas to Missouri, also inside of Minnesota. Rainfall going on in Arizona, as well as pretty much most of the Four Corners region. New Mexico is included in there. Rainfall going on in the western parts from California to Oregon to Washington, even into Idaho as well. Rainfall going on inside of Colorado, and then maybe even parts of the Dakotas and Tennessee. But for the most part, everything else looks pretty nice. Nothing too much happening here. If we go into our cloud cover right now is actually pretty heavy, especially in the upstate parts of the low country for sure. I've seen some cloud cover out there just around like an hour ago or so while I was outside. Probably not even an hour, probably like 30 minutes ago. PD getting in on some of that cloud cover. Same thing with the Grand Trans. So pretty much all regions are receiving cloud cover right now. And so that's not really too much of a shocker. If we go in and push this forward, you can see that cloud cover even making its appearance as we go through tomorrow. And not only will there be a huge cloud presence, but also a huge fog presence as well. There will also be some foggy conditions going on that goes not only inside of the low country, potentially, but also inside the Midlands. I know Midlands also has a chance of some fog that will go into tomorrow morning, but look at that, how much cloud cover there is, even as we go into tomorrow. This is tomorrow night right here for our Thursday evening. Cloud cover is still pretty heavy. And then as we go into Friday morning, cloud cover is still heavy. And then Friday night, it starts to clear up a little bit, but for the most part, cloud cover is still there. Current temperatures right now, 63 in Columbia as well as 64 in Orangeburg, 66 in Summerville, and even around 64 in Georgetown, 65 in Murray's Inlet, 65 in Myrtle Beach, 64 in Conway, 62 in Florence, even 63 inside of Hartsville. We also do have around 67 in Charleston and 63 also in Gaffney, 64 in Spartanburg, and 62 in Clemson, Anderson, and Greenville. Low temperatures for tonight, you have around 52 in Anderson and Greenville and Spartanburg. We also do have around 51 in Rock Hill, 52 inside of Columbia, and even 53 inside of Orangeburg, 54 in Walter Brown, 59 in Charleston, 61 in Hilton Head Island, and 55 in Georgetown and Myrtle Beach as well. So what's going on with our high temperatures as we go into tomorrow? Tomorrow, our high temperature is around 73 in Greenville, 72 in Spartanburg, even around 71 in Rock Hill, 75 in Columbia, and 78 in Walterboro, 73 in Charleston, 75 in Moncks Corner, 70 in Georgetown, 68 in Myrtle Beach, and 71 in Florence, 70 in Cheraw and Dillon, and 74 up there in Anderson. So it's going to be another warm day as we go into tomorrow. Now, in terms of rainfall, in terms of accumulable precipitation, is still not expected as we go throughout the next 24 hours. And so that's what the professionals say. Now, the models beg to differ. And I was talking about the uncertainty and how the models, even though the models have been consistent, for the most part and show there's a rain chance for sure. The radar right now is not indicating that right now. If we go back to what the radar is saying right now, it says nothing. It says literally nothing right now is going on throughout the state, as we just talked about earlier. And so my question that I have was, why was the models saying what they were saying? And it was obviously a low confidence. I read the discussion from the National Weather Service of Columbia and the Midlands of South Carolina, and they said that there was definitely a chance. Definitely there was a chance, but the confidence was not high enough for them to put precipitation amounts on their map, and so that is why they did not put that on their map. And so I now know why, because I know yesterday I was questioning it, even this morning I was questioning it as well. And so there was just too low of confidence for them to go on and put this on their map. And so that's why you don't just go off of one model run. You go on and look at a bunch of them, and then also look at the previous runs as well. See if it's just a one-run thing. And you have to look at a lot of variables for when it comes to, is there actually that chance of rainfall or not? And so that's what's going on. No precipitation. Again, accumulable precipitation is expected as we go throughout tonight. Crazy score for tonight. We're at a... That is not the correct score. We'll come back to that in just a second. But first, before we go in and do that, okay, here's the right one. Okay, I got it now. But no thunderstorm activity is expected as we go throughout tonight. So we are good in terms of thunderstorm activity for tonight. Same thing for tomorrow. But according to Friday, the Storm Prediction Center says that we do have a chance for some thunderstorms to get going on Friday. If the convection is there, the ingredients are there for it already, and they will be there on Friday. For now, that's what the models are saying. Will the conditions still be there on Friday? Well, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens on Friday on Friday morning. But for the most part, the ingredients are there. We just need the convection to be there, and then showers and thunderstorms will be possible. Now for the crazy score, we're at an 18 for tonight. Well, why are we at an 18? Well, it's going to be actually very warm. Highs in the upper, or that's actually from, that part was from this morning, but very warm tonight. As we already just talked about that low temperatures that we have, in the 50s for some of us, even in the 60s for some as well. So around low 60s, high 50s for a good amount of us. Some of us will be in the high 40s, and so some of us won't be warm. But for a good amount of us, especially in the low country, we'll be up inside of the high 50s to maybe even the low 60s. But other than that, nothing else really for me to talk about there. Nothing else really for me to talk about. If we go on and continue now, let's talk about the excessive rainfall outlook, as there is no excessive rainfall that is expected as we go throughout the next 5 days. So we are good in terms of that. And so let's go on now and look at the models. So we're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. Even the models here still show a little bit of a rain chance as you go throughout the coastal areas. As you go into the Midlands, it still shows that rain chance still being there. As you go into around 12 a.m. all the way to 1 to 2 to 3 a.m., and then you continue it further even more, and we stay really dry as we go throughout tomorrow. Not really looking for any sort of rainfall chance as we go into tomorrow. But once we get to around 12 to 1 o'clock in the morning on Friday, though, we see some rainfall moving into the upstate. Not only the upstate, but also into the Midlands and in the PD areas as well. You go all the way to around 6 to around 8 o'clock in the morning. Rainfall even moving into the upstate around that same time as well. But again, it's on like the more lighter side. I'm not really seeing anything too concerning from this, except for obviously just a little thunderstorm risk if the convection gets going. But that's only if it gets going. And we end it right here at 7 o'clock, still not seeing a whole lot. And if we look at accumulation over the next 48 hours, just from this one model run, shows potentially a good amount of rainfall up there inside of the upstate, but other than that, everything else looks relatively dry. If we go into our long-term future, what about the long-term future? We're going to start off here over at the 54-hour mark. That's just where we ended off at. We go in and push this forward, and as you go in and push it forward, you can see for the most part that we're not really seeing too much activity. Not really too much activity. At least that's what you would think. But then you continue this all the way into around like the 22nd and the 23rd, and you see this low pressure and this rainfall come through. And like I said, you may think, okay, well, this is nothing. That actually is something, because it is actually a cold front that would be moving down, or at least cold air mass, or most likely a cold front, moving through as we go into around the 22nd and the 23rd. And so that will bring us dry air for sure. And not only dry, but with a cold front, obviously comes that cold air. And so we will definitely receive some cooler temperatures as we go into the start of next week. And so there will be another one behind it. And obviously it will push through. It will bring some rainfall, and we have potentially a pretty big system. We've been talking about the last couple of days of November for a good little bit now. If you've been with us for the past couple of days, you know that I've been harping about the last day or so of November being a pretty interesting storm system that you're trying to move through, and the models have been consistent with this one. So that's going to be on the 29th there, all the way into the 30th where it leaves, and then December the 1st, I was talking about these back-to-back. I think I called it a parade of cold fronts yesterday evening, and so that's what we're seeing there as well. And so if you want to go in and look at specifics as well, you go all the way, this is the 26th, right before Thanksgiving. You see this cold air starting to move through, especially as we get into around like the 29th and the 30th. And not only that, but one other thing that I do want to show you, look how cold it's going to be, not only, obviously in like other areas like where us, North Carolina, Georgia, those areas, but also look up there in like Missouri and Kansas. They'll be up there inside of the single digits as you go all the way into the last couple of days of November. But zooming back into South Carolina though, continue this forward, we definitely could see some below freezing. Temperatures from that. As you can see them for sure, especially up there in the mountains as well. But still 276 hours out, so things can definitely change there. Warm air tries to come back, but cold air doesn't really let it too much. And if you want to go on and see it on the actual anomaly scale, you go all the way through into the 20th and the 30th. No surprise, below average temperatures. But then above average takes over as we get back into December. That does not mean that it's hot. It just means that it's warmer for this time of year. And speaking of, you're going to be seeing temperatures at that point still in the 60s. So definitely above average for December the 3rd. And so that's all that I really have to say for this long-term future, as we're just going to be seeing that back and forth between the warm air and the cold air as that parade of cold fronts continue throughout the East and throughout just the U.S. in general. So what's going on in terms of the tropics? Well, nothing in the Atlantic right now. We are nice and quiet over here in the Atlantic still. And so even if we go on, look at the ensembles as I go on and do every night, we check and see. I see like some little activity going on in the Southern Caribbean, but that's about it. Not really seeing anything else. And speaking of, if we back it up, they're more likely going down towards the south and west and the west, not causing us any sort of activity. This now goes into November the 29th. That's only 2 days around, because it's the 19th now, so we'll go into the 20th tomorrow, and then on Friday we will be 10 days out until hurricane season ends. So we're getting closer. only 10 days out until hurricane season ends. On Friday. That will be on Friday. Now it's still only 12. So that's it in terms of the tropics. What is going on in terms of the audience? If you want to be a part of the audience, you can have my joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, let me see this over here. My Aunt Lula comes in and says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. I pray that everyone is doing well. I am doing well. Thank you so much for asking for that." Mr. Chris says, "Good evening, everyone. Hope you all are doing well, and hopefully you had a great, we all had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for asking as well." My Aunt Lula says, "Today in Georgetown, it was warm and sunny." Well, glad that it was warm and sunny out there for you. Mr. Chris comes back and says, "It was a very beautiful day in Moncks Corner, very comfortable, and turned very cloudy this afternoon." Same thing over where I was as well. My name says, "Hello, Jay. A really nice day. I enjoyed the outdoors in the sun. Great to hear. It was definitely a lot warmer than it usually would be." Cheryl says, "Greetings, everyone. Greetings to you." Mr. Chris says, "Please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button if you have not already. Also, share with everyone that you know. Helps the channel grow." He's absolutely correct. We right now have, 9 people watching and only 6 likes. If you are a part of that 3 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time. And also, if you have not hit the subscribe button, go on and do so. We're at 618, trying to get to that main goal of 700. We are 82. Yes, 82 subscribers away from that main goal of 600. 700, excuse me, not 600. We're past that already. Let's see. My Aunt Lula comes back and says, "Hello, nephew. My plan is to spend Thanksgiving in Orlando, Florida. How's the weather looking in Orlando for Thanksgiving?" Thank you. You know, it's still more than a week, so as I say, because I've already had a lot of people asking me for Thanksgiving forecasts for specific locations not inside of South Carolina as well. So for right now, you know, we still 7 days out, so things will change. So this is not going to be, for now, the most accurate, just because it's too far out right now. But I will go on and talk about that, though, before we go on and talk about San Antonio, Raleigh, Philadelphia, and Duncan. Thad says, "Good evening, Joseph. It was another great day here in San Antonio. I trust all is well. All is well with you and the Weather family." And then Sean says, I guess he meant hello. Tropical cyclone. I don't know if it's Fina or Fina, but he says tropical cyclone is near Australia right now. Let me actually, I don't really pay too much attention to the tropics out there over inside of like the, you know, just to the west of the Atlantic. I usually just pay attention to the Atlantic. I do sometimes peek on over there, and I do see some activity going on, but I do see what you're talking about. And it's definitely approaching. It says approaching the Northern Territory coast. So I do see that right now. Thank you for letting me know. I actually will go on and take a look at that. And then that is all that I see inside the chat for right now. So we got a request first before we talk about San Antonio, Raleigh, Philadelphia, and Duncan. We will go on and talk about Orlando first, and that's because we had a request. So we're gonna go on. I'm gonna go on and find that right now and get that loaded up for you. Again, great time to say that the actual Q&A video will be out on Friday. I'll let you know the specific time tomorrow evening, so make sure that you're there for that, so you know if you want to be there and watch your question get answered by me. But on Friday, that will be the day that I will answer all the questions. No, it will not be live. It will not be at 9 o'clock. It will be actually right before I go on and stream. So we'll do that first, and then we'll go on and do the actual Friday evening forecast update. So that's what we have planned for Friday. And so let's go on and talk about Orlando now. For Thanksgiving Day, that's obviously on the 27th. If you want to push that forward to the 27th, and actually I can go on and do that. There you go. All the way down towards the 27th. I mean, like I said, not really seeing too much right now in terms of rainfall. Not really seeing too much even as you go into the 28th. Not really seeing too much. Maybe the day before, but in terms on the day of, doesn't really look like too much in terms of rainfall activity. Now, in terms of temperatures, temperatures for the most part, they're going to be about in the 80s, it seems, for high temperatures, the low to mid 80s or so. And then as you go into the night of Thanksgiving, it's going to be down inside of the high 60s. So just regular Florida weather, almost, it seems, for this time of year. High 80s for your high temperatures for some, for you probably around like the mid 80s, and then high 60s for lows, maybe even some low 70s potentially. And so that's it for Orlando. Obviously, probably not going to be any severe weather, excessive rainfall, so nothing really for you to worry about. So let's go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 locations, what am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these locations is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And so we go on and talk about their forecast because even though their main area is not being talked about, they still show up and show support either way. So we're going to go on and talk about them. Starting off with San Antonio first. You have low temperatures tonight at 72, high temperatures tomorrow at around 82, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 69. Chance of showers, that's supposed to say just a chance of showers as you go into tonight. And then tomorrow, showers are expected as you go throughout the day, so rain will occur tomorrow. I know it's about a miracle at this point, but rain will occur tomorrow for you, and showers will still be likely as you go throughout tomorrow night as well. So that's what you're expecting for you. In terms of severe weather and excessive rainfall, well, for right now, in terms of severe weather, right now it's not looking too probable. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow there might be a little bit of a risk for some, but it's like right outside of it. But we might as well include you in there. As isolated damaging wind gusts of up to around 60 miles per hour and isolated damaging hail is possible of up to an inch is possible as you go into tomorrow. Now, in terms of excessive rainfall for you, you do definitely have a threat for tomorrow. Slight risk of excessive rainfall. That is a 15% risk of flash flooding as you go into tomorrow. That's for Thursday going into Friday. And so that's it for San Antonio. Now for Raleigh, North Carolina, you have low temperatures tonight at 43, high temperatures tomorrow at 62, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 49. No precipitation is expected tonight or tomorrow. But in terms of severe weather and excessive rainfall for you right now, looking honestly like nothing. Looking really quiet right now, so nothing for you. And then for Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 34, high temperatures tomorrow at 51, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 42. No precipitation is expected at this time, and then in terms of excessive rainfall and severe weather, nothing for you either. Then finally, the final location, you have Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at 62, high temperatures tomorrow at 71, and then low at 54 for tomorrow night. Showers are likely not only tonight, but tomorrow night, and showers are expected as you go into tomorrow during the day. In terms of excessive rainfall first, isolated flash flooding is possible not only on Thursday, but Friday. And then you're still not done because on Sunday, scattered flash flooding is possible. So you're going to have definitely a huge flood risk as you go throughout these next couple of days going into the weekend on Sunday, going into Monday. So you're going to have to watch out for that. And then in terms of severe weather, yes, you do have a threat for some severe weather, not only tonight. That's for a wind risk, a hail risk, and then that's actually about it after that. Now, that may have just been added today, because if I did not say it yesterday, then it definitely was added today. And so that's why. And that's all that we have for those 4 locations. So what's going on throughout the entire U.S. right now as we speak? Isolated severe thunderstorms and widespread showers may produce flash flooding across the southern plains through Thursday. Numerous instances of flash flooding are expected in the south central Texas area, including portions of the Hill Country and an additional area across eastern Oklahoma into the Ozarks on Thursday. Heavy rainfall and mountain snow will return to Southern California on tomorrow. that, we also will see some fog, some more dense fog that already impacted the Gulf Coast from Louisiana all the way over into Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Texas. That happened yesterday. That will happen again tonight. That and then some freezing conditions are expected in southeastern Arizona as well. And that's all that I see here in terms of the entire U.S. And let me go and check out the chat. One more time, Mr. Chris says, just check the current temperature here in Moncks Corner, and it says it's around 62. Says it's around 62. And for right now, I mean, where I am, right now, my current temperature right now outside says it is around 65. 65. So I think it's about to drop down to 64, though, because it might be like 64.5 or 64.6. That would round up. Yeah, it is. So that would round up to 65. So it's about to go down to 64 right now. And that is still still on the warmer side. Definitely still on the warmer side, for me at least. And that's all I can see inside the chat. My Aunt Lou says, that sounds great, thank you. No problem for that. Top fans for the night tonight. Top fans for the night tonight. Let me go on and check, because if I am not mistaken, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So yeah, so Mr. Chris got number 1 for tonight. My Aunt Lula is at number 2. And then Thad is number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for the night tonight. If you want to be a top fan, you can. You just have to be here early. You have to be a subscriber of the channel in order to type, and you have to be active inside of the chat. And so that's all that I have. So everyone have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday evening. Make sure you go and hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, hit the like button if you have not already, if you're new. And also we'll be back tomorrow morning. And then obviously Thursday evening Drought Monitor is tomorrow. And Friday Q&A comes out. And then the Thanksgiving forecast will be on Sunday. And then after that, I'll inform you on what's going to happen after that. But everyone have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday.